Hello and welcome everyone. In this video, I'm going to tell you about the recent game jam in which I have participated. It was Olympics Gamejam by Marlin, and I made a platformer game for this game jam. And in this, as you know, the theme was Olympics, but I took a small challenge that I wanted to learn a new game engine. So in Godot or Godot, I made my new game, and this is the process which went along with it. Let's get started. Before starting with the game engine, I went to Aseprite and started with making the logo for the Olympics, and the basic idea was to make a game, and that too in a new game engine that I am not familiar with. And I wanted to learn this for quite a while, and I've been avoiding it, the Godot game engine. It's an awesome game engine, I know about it. Many people have recommended this to me for 2D games and other projects. Usually my go-to engine is either Unity or Unreal, mostly Unity. But for 2D games, I wanted to make a game in Godot, and I made this game and started with an empty project. So you can see we can switch to 2D view, and I can see I've added a player sprite, but I had no idea how to work on it. So I just Googled how to learn Godot fast, and this channel is pretty awesome. So I learned a few things in this 5-minute video, and I started working on this. So I added a sprite, and after adding a sprite, I came to know that okay, I have to make the sprite first of all. So the protagonist for this game is a EGGDOG, the EGGDOG, that meme. So I thought it would be easy because I had less than a day to work on this. So I started making a rough sketch of the EGGDOG in Aseprite. So the basic designs were like this only. I just added a few circles. And the special thing about EGGDOG is you cannot see all 4 of his legs, only 2 legs are visible. And yeah, you can see I just added 2 legs and a face. So it basically looks like a Pokemon. I think there is a Pokemon which looks like this. I'm not able to remember the name. So I added the colors and everything, but I also have to animate this. But before animating, I thought I'll adjust the face, the shapes, everything. And I think modifying it was easy in Aseprite, or you could even use Piskel. Piskel is also a very good tool to make sprites and other things. So currently, after doing this, I added shades because I saw many pixel artists do this. It looks very cool. You add a little bit shade, add a few other colors. So it's basically white colored, but you can see a gray shade is there in the bottom part. So it gives a little bit of 3D look. After this, I saved the character in a different sprite sheet so I could have everything in a single place. Now the next part is important. It's the animation. 2D animation is, especially in Aseprite, is really interesting to make. I planned, because I had only one day for this game jam, to make only 2-frame animations. For example, a simple idle animation and a run animation. So you can see here for run animation, I'm morphing the shape of the puppy or the dog. So it looks like he's running. I'll change the position of his legs also. So the starting 1 and 2 frame on the screen are of the idle animation. 3 and 4 will be for the running animation, and I'll add a 5th frame also for jump animation, I guess. So for the run animation, I'm just changing the shape of the ears, and the face looks like it's a little bit tilted towards forward, and the shape is a little bit distorted, I think. So it looks like okay, the puppy is actually running. So currently, yeah, I think it looks good. You can animate the 2 frames. Similarly for the ideal one, and similarly for the run animation. Now only thing that remains is I have to export it and move to Godot so I can use these as my sprites. Back to Godot. I'm adding an animating sprite node, which will help, or a simple sprite will also work, but animating sprite will help, I think, in animating them easily. So you can see I'm dragging and dropping all of my frames, which I exported from Aseprite. And one thing which I'll do, I think I have to crop them. In Unity, I think it was a little bit more easier. Here, I'm not sure how does it work. I think we can change the dimensions from the right side. Yes, it works. After doing this, it's a small tip, go to import part. And there is a setting for 2D pixel and apply it so your pixel art images get sharper, otherwise they were very much blurry. Now adding some tiles so I can make a basic design for a level to test it out, how does it look actually. So it's possible to do tile editing, but also one more important thing is that I have to make a simple enemy. So because the main character is a puppy or a dog, EGGDOG, so enemy should also be like an EGGDOG enemy, some sort of that, but the look should be a little bit angry. And I changed the color also, so it looks like, yeah, you should know by looking at the character that it's an enemy sprite. And just like a simple 2D platformer game, I'll make sure that I make it like if you stomp on the character, this enemy character dies, and if it touches the player, player dies, just like Super Mario. Then I started painting the levels by using these brushes, and once I had everything, I just made a simple code in GDscript, which was easy to learn, and my first stage was ready. Currently you can see only idle animation is playing, but you can play along with the enemy. He is not dying, but he is there. I think size adjustment is required. By this time in the jam I had only 8 hours left, so I had to work on a background, I had to make a proper stage, and I think I had also planned to add some coins or collectibles, so I'll also work on it. So I made a 2-layered background. In this background you can see the front part is just like, okay, there are flags of Olympics, so I'm copying and pasting them on the main background. After doing all this, I took a small break, but by the time I returned, I saw only 4 hours were left, around 4 hours, and I started playtesting after adding the background. Now I had very less time, so I couldn't add the parallax effect, but I think the background looks good for a game jam game. And also I just quickly made a simple coin, and the only thing that remained was the end part of the stage, the final door, which you have to reach and the game is completed. So here I'm making backside of an airplane because I had a few plans earlier, so I didn't make the entire plane, and because of lack of time I was doing this. I had no idea what I was doing, but I got a little bit of hint that okay, if I make the backside of the plane, the story of the game could be decided on this. So I'm copying the Olympics logo. So the story is this, that this puppy is trying to reach or catch the plane to the Tokyo Olympics, and there are some obstacles which you have to clear. You have to collect a few coins. Only if you are able to do all these things, you will be able to catch the plane. And I think that looks pretty legit for a Olympic themed game jam. So after that, only thing that was remaining, which I did, was to make a main menu screen, and for that I made a similar background but in a orange color, so it looks like it's a sunset scene or something like that. Made a few UI elements. It took me an hour to do everything because I was learning about Godot's UI, how to make UI in Godot. After doing that, I was collecting coins, checked my animations once more that they are working or not. I had to fix a few minor issues. For example, the player was not animating, and a few other issues just like the coin collection and the enemy hitboxes. After fixing everything, we are done. But I just did my final playtest and the game was working perfectly, I think. So if you press play, you can run along the stage. You can also do a speed run, but there is no score. There is no time system currently, only a score is there. So there is pause menu which is working. If you press escape key, and you can collect the coins, your score is increasing, enemies are also dying, and the game is working. And if you touch the enemy in the wrong place, you also die. So after doing this, I uploaded the game, and it was a web export, and I think my submission was done before 2 minutes. I think it was 10 minutes, but for me it showed 2 minutes. So these were the other fantastic entries in the game jam. I really liked all of them. You should also play them. Link is in the description. You can also play my game which I made. This is also available on my edge.io, so you can play it. So I hope you liked this video. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time. Stay tuned for more. Bye bye.